Welcome in everybody to Life on Mars, the Veronica Mars rewatch podcast, where we go through episode by episode. I wanted to address the current ongoing situation of just our world at the top here. We support Black Lives Matter. We support the protests that are legally happening throughout the country. And we support justice for George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and all the other countless people who aren't named in that. And that means more than just having police officers charged and people charged, but wider systemic change and people acknowledging their white privilege. So, do you have any thoughts on that or anything you want to add?
I mean, lots of thoughts, because, I think it's very important as white privileged people who are privileged in more than just the basic white privilege sense of things, to use our voices and our platform, regardless of how big or small,
right,
to talk about these things and to have these conversations, because the more comfortable we get talking about racism, the better we will be at solving the systemic issues we have.
Absolutely.
That are fed by racism.
Mm-hmm. It's ongoing since, slaves were brought over. And if you don't think that doesn't have an impact, then
you're sorely mistaken.
Exactly.
I will say what I've been telling a lot of white allies lately, and I posted a blog post about this as well, is that it's so important to not ask for validation from your black friends about how you're being an ally. That is not their job. They don't need to coddle you. And do not ask them to tell you how to be a better person. You have to do the research and do the work yourself. There's so many resources available online about how to be a better ally. There are so many books out there. There's so many different ways to educate yourself. There's videos, like whatever type of learner you are, there is a forum for you. So go out there and educate yourself. Lots of resources available. And don't burden the oppressed, but to educate their oppressor.
Absolutely. You'll be able to find resources in a pinned tweet on Mars Rewatch on Twitter. And I will say up front, we're recording this, we usually record about a week early. So if other things have happened there and we're not addressing it, that's why. But just know where we stand on any things that might have come up. But I think you kind of get a pretty good idea no matter what happens in the next week or so.
And if you're racist, get out of here.
Yeah, totally. Again, we have a very, very small platform, but we don't need you. We do this for free. So, get the fuck out.
Here's the door.
Exactly. The figurative door. But yeah, I at least wanted to address it up at the top.
Yes.
But... so the fun pivot begins to Veronica Mars. Season 2, episode 4, Green-Eyed Monster. Oh, I wonder what this could be. An episode all about jealousy, perhaps?
Perhaps. A little envy.
Yes. Where everybody is trying to spy on partners in one way or another.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Except for Wallace.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Wallace continues to be the most
pure and the cornerstone of this show.
Right. Well-adjusted. That's what I was looking for. And very progressive for a man for a boy in high school, 1, and 2005.
Yes. And I have so many questions about his life and his backstory that we never get answered.
No. We get when I say soap opera, please know I do not mean that as a demeaning term, but merely as the genre in which this stuff occurs. I know Veronica Mars in a lot of ways is soap opera. A lot of the things I love are just primetime soaps. Twin Peaks, for example. And so when we get the reveal at the end of the episode, it is very soap opera. Because it's even the same framing of, like, he drops the news that he's his dad, and then Wallace, it zooms in on Wallace almost like clutching his chest, like,
like what?
Fade to black.
Yes, it's great. It's weird. It's great. But yeah, so we start, and Meg's out of the ICU.
I did want to give a couple things up front before we jump in. Because, so thankfully, I did some research for this, looking at the episode. So the woman from the case of the week this week, Julie, is played by Laura Bell Bundy. And so I had written down at the beginning, Elle Woods walks in, because she's kind of made to look like Elle Woods. And I unintentionally hit the nail on the head because she was the first person to play Elle Woods on Broadway in the Legally Blonde musical.
Huh.
And was also, you would know Hairspray better than I. So when I say Amber Von Tussle, is that a main character?
Yeah, so, she is... I believe that's the role that in the movie version of Hairspray was played by... Hold on, let me look.
And I will say this is the first time I realized that Hairspray the movie was first and not the play.
The first movie.
Yeah, so John Waters.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought it was a play originally because it said in her bio that she originated the role, and I'm like, well, how could she have done that in 2002? And it's like, oh, because it was not on Broadway.
Let's see if I can find it. What was the name?
Amber Von Tussle.
Amber Von Tussle.
Yeah. Is that like a main character at all?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen Hairspray in my life.
It's like, I mean, she's just like a highfalutin white girl, but I think it's played, is it the one played by Brittany Snow in the movie? Hairspray movie, Brittany Snow.
Is it like an antagonist or something?
I mean, so basically there's like a couple well-meaning white people, and then the most of the people in it are... Yeah, she's Amber Von Tussle. Brittany Snow is. It's I mean, yeah, she's like debutante, like, because the whole thing's about like the, like the showboaty white kids on the dance show.
Okay.
And so I'm pretty sure she's just like one of our louder racists.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, there you go.
I'll have to look.
Yeah.
I could be misrepresenting her, but I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, but I thought that was funny when I was looking her up. And then our other guest star, or recurring role, I should say, Cress Williams, who's Wallace's father, is currently the lead on the CW show Black Lightning, which I've heard decent things about, but it's part of their whole DC universe on CW.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, here you go. For Hairspray movie, although she is very mean, Amber is not as racist or cruel as her mother.
I see.
But she is still problematic, and she makes fun of... So you know how the main girl...
She's not as outwardly cruel.
Yes, but she does make fun of Tracy for being overweight. Like, she's not nice.
Oh, I see.
She's not painted in a good light, but her mom's worse than she is, so it's like a Veruca,
Okay. Yes, I do understand.
Okay.
Put it in Willy Wonka terms.
Exactly. Let me put it in a chocolate bar.
Exactly. All right. But yes, I wanted to at least acknowledge that before we got started. I was like, oh, that's actually kind of interesting. Like, she's in a, like, random guest star one-off role when she's, like, doing Broadway stuff.
And poignant for the conversation we are having, because being not as racist as someone is still being racist.
Yeah, totally.
So,
backed into it.
Exactly.
All right. So, as you were saying,
Meg's out of the ICU.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations, Meg. Right.
I mean,
into the fire.
Yeah, we still don't get to talk to her.
No.
And
but she can see the bear and the balloon we sent.
Can she?
Oh God, she's blind.
Was she awake?
Oh.
I always thought
so
she
out
was
of the ICU doesn't mean coma. Out of coma.
ICU is the intensive care unit.
Okay.
So like people with comas can like live at home.
I see. Right. Okay. Makes sense.
It's just literally like, can she have visitors, basically, and like, is she constantly at like risk of like, because that's what the sister is like. You know, if my parents find out what's on her computer, we'll get to this later.
Right.
They'll pull the plug on her. Like she's on life support.
You're right. Okay.
Which is not always the case for people in comas, but it is in this particular one.
Absolutely.
So I was like, yeah, no, Meg is not up and at 'em.
Yeah, not okay.
No, she is not. That's all I wrote for that part.
So
Meg is out of the ICU.
Yes, Veronica had called the hospital to see where Meg was at and asking when she could have visitors. And then our client walks in, Julie, who wants to investigate her boyfriend because she has a lot of money and wants to make sure that he's actually he
loves her and isn't marrying her for her money.
Exactly, yeah, because she found a ring in his gym bag. And has a bunch of money to burn and will pay anything for some dirt on her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I wrote the silver package, as according to Veronica, is the NSA. Get all your phone records, your email records.
I mean, like, you call the government, you can get that shit for free about me.
Yeah, exactly.
They already got it.
I know someone.
Exactly. Whoever's watching me through my computer monitor, it's fine.
Whoever's listening now, welcome.
Yeah, exactly. Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome. This is Life on Mars.
Yeah, sit down.
I hope you stream this later.
Exactly. So. Please just give us a play if you're gonna do it.
I know.
It's on the internet. And we have some lovely sheriff signs around because Keith Mars is ramping up his
campaign.
His campaign, yes. So he walks in and admonishes Veronica for wanting to take a case because she does no longer work there, and I still need to remember that 4 episodes into the season.
But she was there to just help him put away some files or something.
Right, which is some serious child chore duty for a working parent.
Exactly. And so then she fake calls to cancel with Julie so that she can take on the case herself.
Yeah, Keith mentions about not having money. They both mentioned not having money for college. So I'm assuming the book did well, but has not resulted in a large amount of money.
Well, remember he tells Wallace's mom, that's what I was going to say, yes. Mrs. Furnell.
Yes.
He tells Alicia that...
Who?
Exactly. She's got a lot of names, actually.
Share.
That the book was it like 98 on the New York Times bestsellers list, so it's like not good enough to do anything, but not bad.
Just cracked it.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think it's like you got the advance, and I mean, she was planning on going to an Ivy League, so... Yeah,
and you would need to be bestseller for multiple years. Need to be raking in that Bible money.
So is that how you got your money, Bible money?
Exactly, Bible money. We sold Bibles. We actually published Bibles. So that's how we did. It's all in the publishing.
Is it because you guys wrote your own rules and that's why?
Greatest story ever told as told by people that had fuzzy memories of the Bible.
The amount of times we've been with your family and I've had to correct a Bible story is both like unnerving and baffling.
He didn't do that, did he? Really?
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
For some reason, like...
Guilty as charged.
I like even like the Christian or the Catholic like things I went to as a kid, regardless of who I was with or what friend or whatever. Like when you tell me a story and then you tell me a scripture, I'm gonna remember it.
Okay, so let's give you a quiz.
Okay.
What's Psalm 140?
140?
Yeah.
I like
the line.
Like, you know, it's you like 1 John 4:4, not like Psalm 140.
Yep.
1 John 4:4 is greater is he that is in you than he that is in the Lord.
Oh, interesting. John said that.
I think so.
Oh. Yeah, I couldn't tell you Bible verses. I remember trying to read it one time and as a child and being like, my God. Whoop. Unintentional there. I was then struck by lightning.
You didn't have a kid's Bible?
I probably did.
Like had like nice pictures.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
stories.
I'm talking about actual Bible. I'm talking about where you crack open and they got verses. There's
yeah,
4 gospel writers.
I read the whole thing in a summer once.
Wow. Was it, as many proclaim, to be the greatest story ever told?
I mean, it's a lot of different stories,
Mhm.
and a lot of them are real sexist. And that first half, you know,
Uh-huh.
that Old
It's a little
Testament,
dark.
it's not good, man.
No, I think that's why most people have you start at Lion Witch in the Wardrobe.
Oh, see, I started at Harry Potter and
Oh,
then was
okay.
told I was a witch. And then I was like, well, I might as well learn what they're accusing me of. And then
Right.
learned about their witch, Jesus. Jesus was a fucking witch.
He was. But only Jesus can do that.
Yeah, like, okay, he can bring people back from the dead. He decides which rocks, stones. He turns water into wine.
Uh-huh.
He multiplies food.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
And then you're going to tell me that he's not a witch
Mhm.
or a wizard, whatever you want to be, a
Yeah.
warlock. It depends
Warlock.
on what kind of learning you did and how you do those things.
Necromancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the above.
Really?
He's the Swiss Army knives of
Yeah.
witches.
It's baffling to me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know there's a community of Christian witches?
No.
Yeah, they're my favorites. I found them on the internet.
So they have powers from Jesus?
They believe, so like when they do, because a lot of people that practice witchcraft of many different forms, like not specifically Wicca, but like other like spiritual people and people that practice in whatever form they do,
Mm-hmm.
usually have some sort of like deity or god they like to work with.
Okay.
It happens a lot with people who practice more of like the pagan mentality and like pagan gods and stuff like that.
Okay.
And like you'll do things, or it's kind of like tarot too. Like you'll do things sometimes a specific god or goddess will help you or like join you or like be the one that's like watching over you. And that's just literally fucking Catholicism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
I mean,
like narrowed down to 2 people.
So basically, yeah, it's like some witches practice with God or Jesus as their, because like everyone, almost all of these believe in a higher power or a spirit, because then you have something that is giving you your power, and you have something that you are serving.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Or that created you, and then or is helping you, and then yeah, so like, and if everyone believes in like a spirit or a higher power, that's God for the Christian witches. But then like your Jesus or your saints or your Mary and stuff like that would be like the other gods and goddesses, or, you know, like some people leave things out for the Fae or different things like that. So it would be the same. It's the same concept.
That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good adaptation in my book.
There are Christian witches. They are out there.
Art.
Their art.
Thou art.
Thou art. There's Amish people protesting, there's witches protesting, and there's Christian witches. Maybe there's some Amish witches.
Yeah, totally. There could be.
I don't know.
The Amish witches. Maybe when people were like, oh, the Amish and the witches have come out for the protest, maybe the Venn diagram is just a circle.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Yes, and then we go to Jabba the Hutt, and Veronica meets Mrs. Block, Julie, at her place of work to do a different kind of business, detectiving or private eyeing.
Yeah.
And signs her on as a client for herself, but this time does not pretend like Keith is going to do it.
Yeah, she's like, no, it's going to be me.
Yeah, which I like.
Uh-huh.
It's like, hey, I'm going to do the work and you're going to talk to me.
Yep. And she's like, yeah, my family's rich and I pretend to be poor.
Uh-huh. And I said that everything about you shows that you are not the middle class.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I think you would be able to suss that out. But, you know, we don't really get to know him all that much, other than he seems to be a nice guy and has really famous friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so, all right. Then Alicia comes over to see Keith with a lovely bagged lunch with a sandwich.
Turkey sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Ham and cheese.
Ham and cheese.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Please.
I apologize.
Uh-huh. Yep. And asks him for a gun.
Yep.
And his answer, or his question back, is great. That depends. Who are you going to shoot?
Uh-huh. And then he's like, well, I don't want to give you a gun that you don't know how to shoot. And I'm like, how dare you assume she doesn't know how to shoot?
Right.
And then he's like, I'll come protect you instead.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's nice, but like, did you ask her if she knows how to shoot?
Yeah, no.
Once again.
Yep. No, I'm coming over. Don't worry.
Which is fine.
I'll be there at all times.
And then they have their sleepover.
Yes.
Keith does his fake leave and then comes back in the morning with donuts.
Yes. Yes, he does.
Did I miss something in between that?
No, I was wondering, because... No, I think you're right. Okay. Oh, yes, you're good.
My favorite thing is that Veronica the next day is like, oh, did he do his fake out with the donuts? And I'm like, has he done this before in the past and with who?
Uh-huh. Exactly. That Veronica would know as well. But I did like that when he hands off the donuts to Wallace when he does his fake arrive, that Wallace is like, Keith Mars for sheriff.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he's like, I want to send the Fennell boys to school on sugar.
Yeah.
Which I think is important.
It is very important. Jackie comes up, slaps Wallace on the butt, and says that he really is the big man on campus, and I hope I'm not smacking the ass of some D&D nerd. And I said, you should be so lucky.
Can't he be both?
You know, he can. I know a few football players that played D&D in high school.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You can be both.
You can. I was just trying to think if anyone from my town was. I'm going to go with a hard no.
Okay.
Like, if I was going to bet odds on that, I would put 0.
Yeah. Okay. So instead of the one circle we were talking about before, 2 completely separate circles that don't intersect.
Uh-huh. Like, they've met each other. They went to elementary school together. These kids all grew up together, but like...
Right. They were not invited over for D&D. This is much more of a John Hughes movie of rigid sections between types of high school students and cliques.
I've decided that part of that was driven by the kids that decided they weren't allowed to fit in because we were fed these narratives. Yeah. Most of it's driven by the D&D nerds in this scenario versus the football kids. That's my theory.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Because I was never particularly bullied. I mean, I was for my political beliefs, but that's completely different.
Yeah.
But I was for what I did or who I was. That was not really. It's not really how people work out there.
Yeah, it was probably just like, I'm gonna go hang out with these people, and you do your thing with whoever else. Mm-hmm. And with your spirit. So we get the undercover detective, Wallace's dad, trying to break into Alicia's house, and Keith rounds the corner with the camera taking pictures so he can catch him in the act of trying to break into a house. And they have an intense face-off where they each list off each other's names and backgrounds. And in a spy movie, this would be like, Keith Mars, MI6, and it'd be, I can't remember Wallace's dad's name, the CIA. They'd lift off their credentials. Keith Mars flashes his weapon to let him know, like, don't get close.
I'm locked and loaded, which is like one of the many reasons why I don't think anyone should have access to weapons.
Yeah, probably not. No.
I digress.
Yes.
We don't need a white man flashing his gun to a black man.
No. Not at all. And he says that he's come for something. And he's not going to leave until he gets it.
Wallace.
Exactly. The boy. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. That's me.
Just imagine like him like being like, no, I'd like to take this 16-year-old home with me now. I know you've raised him since birth, but I really feel like these next like that can't be the goal.
Right, exactly. Oh boy. So Veronica does some digging, and
she tails our buddy, Julie's man. Can't remember his name.
Yes.
It's not important.
Yes.
And she goes to watch him at tennis practice, and he just goes to tennis practice, and then he was supposed to go to some other...
Colin.
He was supposed to go to another thing. I don't remember. Basketball.
I think he was supposed to... He, like, left tennis early or something. And it's like, he's not at tennis. And decides to call and let the client know that he's not at his regularly scheduled thing and that he went into a house.
Yes.
I feel like you do that afterwards.
Well, she wanted to send her pictures of who it was, because maybe it was like a family friend or, you know.
Right. But I feel like that is you pull the ripcord too fast, because then you risk exactly what happens where Julie drives up and tries to bust in.
Well, but Veronica's dealing with a lot of PTSD.
Totally.
And it's not really addressed.
Yeah, ever.
Because she walks in and she's like, Duncan, they all died because of me. And then we never get a follow-up on that scene.
No. Yeah, Duncan probably patted her on the back, and it's like, well, let's get some food that I can make in a double entendre about, and we'll forget this all happened.
I'm going to get some dim sum, and we'll carry on. But yeah, so then... Julie shows up with her curlers and her eyebrow wax. Like, I don't really know what was going on there. I was like, is that Nair? Also, like, if you take off that much of your eyebrows, you're going to really regret it in about a decade. I'm just letting you know now.
It's different.
You overplucked in the early 2000s, too. I
did.
know.
Because people always called me bushy brows. So.
Did they?
Thinned it out itself naturally because I got so ashamed.
Oh, God.
And they grew back.
Double. But then she's like, no,
just to show him.
Julie, don't run in. He's with a rabbi.
Yeah.
And she's like, he's not Jewish. I'm Jewish.
Yes.
Then she's like, oh.
What do you think that could be for?
Which made me laugh. And also, I always forget that, like, certain cultures, like, if we wanted to get married because we were both raised Catholic and we wanted to do it the religious way, in theory, we both could because we've both been confirmed. But, like, if you're not part of a religion and you date someone, like, it's such an obvious thing, but I always forget about it, that, like, if it's not, like, a Christianity compatible to a Christianity, then it's, like, a whole lot of fucking work.
Yeah, totally.
It's why I don't really like organized religion. It seems like there's a lot of gatekeeping for no reason.
Totally. A lot of hoops to cross. Yeah, there's a lot. My dad had to do that because he grew up, what were my grandparents? They're not Catholic.
Pentecostal?
Maybe. Does Protestant sound right?
That could be a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a thing, but that could be
right.
Very well could be a religion. I don't know.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah, my dad wasn't Catholic when he married my mom, but then he became a Catholic.
Same with yep, yep, same with my father.
Well,
so
maybe that's what. Never mind.
Hamburger's all about. So then Veronica's like, you know what? Meg's out of the ICU. That doesn't mean she's off life support and not been moving around, just in case anybody else is confused. Veronica certainly knows. She shows up and is like, oh, it's my boyfriend? Hi, Duncan. What are you doing here? And Meg's parents come out and try and shoo him away. They do not have a broom, so it does not work. But they admonish him for coming by all the time, and we don't want you around here, so get lost, loser. Goodbye. And Veronica's like, And
Duncan's like, do you want to go to lunch? And she's like, no, I gotta work.
Right.
I gotta go. Oh, we did this backwards. I gotta go watch a tennis match.
Oh, we did do it backwards.
But whatever.
Yeah. But honestly, just, yeah. Non-communicative. Oh my God.
Non-communicative relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't fucking talk.
Uh-uh.
So everyone Veronica dates, I feel like, does this happen if you have a relationship where you don't talk to your significant
Ladies,
other?
does this happen to you?
Please let me know, because I'm dying to know who doesn't update their significant other on every fucking move they make.
Yeah.
Because, like, I move from room to room and I'm like, hey, I'm in here now.
Right.
Hey, I'm in here now. I'm like the fucking dog. I'm like, I'm going to go out on the patio. You want to come?
But yeah, I don't understand that. Doing something big like that. But he's hiding something, so that's why he isn't. Because he feels guilty and he doesn't want to, even though he's well-adjusted Duncan, he still has some issues he needs to work out around guilt and confiding in others.
Guilt and shame are useless emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Do not put your guilt on other people.
Totally. Even if you think you're doing the right thing.
Exactly. And if you do and you fuck up, apologize.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know what Duncan could do in this moment? It could be like, hey, there's something I need to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
It'll come up in a couple episodes, I think. I think I remember what happens. I'm not positive, so like this could be all just a fever dream.
Yes, it does. I think I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Big revelations with the Familia.
Yes, with Dunky.
Yeah.
We also get a side plot with Weevil.
Yes. It feeds into the main plot.
Yes. So Weevil comes up to our girl Veronica at school. Did I miss anything in between there?
No, I think we're good. That's
okay.
The next one on my notes. And that makes me... Oh, actually, real quick. We swing by to say hi to our special friend Lamb, who, if...
Who's we?
Keith.
You
I meant us as viewers.
You were going to call him Sheriff?
Yep. Hey, he's got my vote. But, at least Veronica Mars is telling you that the people in positions of power within a police department are not always the best people for 2 seasons now. And he tells Lamb, hey, why don't you go catch this criminal, Carl Morgan? He's in the vicinity, but there's nothing in it for me, so you can go do it. And he's just kind of like,
I'm suspicious.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Which is, I'm like really impressed because like the first couple of seasons, you really think Lamb couldn't put two and two together.
No,
And this one, I'm like, oh, he's got his deduction hat on.
Exactly. He's kind of learning, but he's still a bigot.
Which is totally likely in a lot of situations.
Indeed.
One can become a bigger and better bigot.
Totally, yeah. But he's, big bigot in a small pond of Neptune.
Exactly. A big get with this.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
I don't know why that made me think of beignets, and that's now all I want. Will you make me beignets this weekend?
Sure, we can look into if I have any of the things that would work for a beignet.
Okay.
How do you make beignets?
Well, I saw this one video where you could do it in the air fryer with crescent rolls, and you just cut them in the shapes of Mickey Mouse because these are Mickey beignets, and you just use the crescent roll stuff and then put powdered sugar on it.
That's really
But I'm
good.
sure we could do it from scratch.
Yeah, I like that idea too.
And
I like it.
Could we make crescent rolls from scratch?
Yeah, probably. What should everybody else bring to the potluck?
If you could all bring maybe one potato salad, make sure it stays on ice, so we don't want the mayo to get weird.
Yeah, nothing weird. Nothing weird.
Keith really likes ham and cheese sandwiches, so maybe some finger sandwiches.
Yeah.
And then if everyone could bring one bigot.
Yes. Please. You don't have to look far. If you're white, it's probably in your family. So once quarantine's lifted, everybody's invited. And, just bring a dish. That's all we ask.
Yeah, and we'll have it in the park.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, that'd be great. That'd be so lovely.
Park.
I miss the park.
You hate going outside.
I do. So the scariness of everything that's happening now around coronavirus is only about getting sick, not really about going outside.
But yes, okay, we'll go back to a world where Veronica is allowed outside.
Yes.
Do you ever think so? And when we were watching this, circling back to coronavirus, I was thinking about sometimes when I watch shows like this, I'm like, why did they go there? They're not supposed to go anywhere. And I'm like, they don't live by my rules. I do that in my dreams sometimes now, where I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be here, like coronavirus.
That's really funny.
It's become my normal.
Right. But yeah, now you're looking at Veronica, and you're like, damn it, she's one of those people.
Why aren't they wearing masks? And I'm like, No one's wearing a fucking mask, Emily. Neptune's not a real city, and this was filmed like a decade ago.
I thought I liked Veronica, but seeing her step outside without washing her hands once.
Where's her hand sanitizer?
Exactly.
But anyway.
Yes. But then we're back to Weevil.
So Weevil comes up to Veronica at school, and he's got new hoops. His earrings.
Yes, I did. It was just funny.
It made me think of Mean Girls when Gretchen Wieners is like, I got these beautiful silver or gold hoops or whatever for my parents for was it Hanukkah? Some holiday. And she's like, and I had to tell my parents that I didn't like them because who's the mean girl in Mean Girls? What's her name?
Oh no! What did you do?
I broke it. The main mean girl in Mean Girls,
know.
Regina George.
Thank you.
Regina told me that like gold or silver or whatever was my color, and like all I thought when I saw that was like, ooh, do you think he's the only one wearing hoops because he's the Gretchen
Right.
or the
Regina
George, and he's like, oh, like I got hoops, you all can't wear hoops, everyone else wears studs.
Mm-hmm. He 100% is. If we're out of the mean girl hierarchy within the PCHers, which we know they are very much like that. They rule that school.
They do. They do. I am sad to say that my school did not have any above board biker gangs because they don't do anything illegal.
No, I think the only thing. No, they don't. I think the only people that rode on motorcycles at my school were the people that went to the desert and romped dunes.
Those kids had quads, but in my school, they still drove trucks to school.
Yeah, they did too. And they wore their fox gear and their high socks and shorts and big sunglasses.
Going back to Jesus, when I worked at the ice cream parlor.
He's coming up a lot today.
Then I worked at the ice cream parlor in my hometown that I did forever. It was like a sit-down 50s diner-esque looking ice cream parlor. Had been there since 1929 or something like that.
Yeah, Pops.
Close, but no cigar. But the bikers for Jesus would come in.
Oh,
and
that's amazing.
So like there was one side of the restaurant that was a bunch of smaller tables, and the other side had like a handful of smaller tables and then like two bigger booths for like parties of like 5 or 6 or more. And I always preferred doing that side because for some reason we split our tips, and for some reason everyone I worked with was so damn bad at remembering who ordered what, and I was really good at it, so I was like, I'd rather make more money and let you handle what you can handle. And so I'd always wait on the bikers for Jesus because they'd come in these big groups. And they always were the nicest. They and the group of mall Santas that would come in always left me the biggest tips.
Oh, that's good.
And they would leave me these stickers. So my binder in high school, because I used to carry like a purse with a binder because I was like a thing then instead of carrying a backpack. I don't
totally
know. Had Bikers for Jesus stickers on
That's
them.
amazing.
I loved them.
Do you think they get in fights with Hell's Angels?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they fight. They were all above board.
Okay. Well,
They were so nice.
And real quick digression on bringing up Pop's Chocolate Shop from Riverdale. Vanessa Morgan, who plays Tony, absolutely ripped into the CW of just like, yeah, this sucks. Like,
yeah, and that they had to take, or that show specifically, like, because now Josie plays a lot larger role on Katie Keene. And she's like, why did we have to move her to a different show for her to get screen time?
Yeah. It's amazing.
Or like, why bring in that character if you're gonna do that?
Exactly.
Because I do see, like, there are 4 main characters. Like, that's a lot of fucking people to track in a show. But then don't bring in accessory characters that are minorities.
Right, exactly. So now she's just a hanger-on all the time.
Yeah, like, it doesn't...
Yeah.
There should be better representation. It's like
Totally.
all of the characters that aren't main characters are a minority, except for Cheryl Blossom.
Yes.
And I guess you would say that... Veronica Lodge is a main character.
True.
And she'd be a minority. But, you know.
Yeah.
Specifically racist against black people.
Yes.
Not Veronica, the show.
Well, Veronica tries her best. She's got blind spots. But in talking to Weevil...
I was like, no, Veronica doesn't have Veronica's character? Oh no, you're talking about this Veronica.
Yeah, I'm talking about Miss Veronica. Oh God, yes, I see exactly what you mean now. I'm so sorry. Veronica Mars, not Veronica Lodge.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
whoa.
The one that would come after in the roll call on a teacher's roll call sheet in class.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah.
Vicky, or no, that'd come after. Never mind.
Yep.
We're moving off. Getting off topic.
Vanessa.
Oh God, yep. Couldn't think of a VA name. After I just said one.
It's okay.
Going back to beating myself up. Weevil has his new hoops, and Veronica's like, "Wait a tick! Didn't you used to have studs?" Mm-hmm.
Wait a tick.
Wait a tick. Yes.
Did you get your AARP card in the mail today?
That's her famous line. Veronica Mars. Wait a tick.
Wait a tick.
Everybody's like, yes. That's why we say stay roasted tickers. Couldn't think of anything.
Like a clock, like a tick-tock.
Yes. She's always on time.
Oh God, that was awful. I hate it. I hate it.
Please help.
So Weevil's like, hey, I got a weird call the night of, we don't know that it was Logan's party. Logan had a party this night, but he's like, I got a weird call on this night, April 24th or whatever the fuck it was, that Curly, basically telling him that Curly was in with the Fitzpatricks, and that it was, the whole thing was an attack on Servando, thank you.
Yes, I'm like, oh,
I kept thinking Fernando.
There that night.
Yeah, exactly. And then all I heard was Abba, and it was a problem. But so Curly was with the Fitzpatricks, and that they were all trying to get revenge because of why was it though? What was the driver?
Curly Moran, or to get revenge?
Yeah.
I think Servando. I mean, they'd somehow like wronged.
Oh yeah, that there was like an alleged like theft or
exactly
whatever. And Veronica's like, you mean the Fitzpatricks? Like the my dad's put a bunch of them in jail.
And my dad and I.
And Weevil's like, they're Irish Catholic. For every one you take in, 5 more are at home. And I was like,
yep, there you go. You're not wrong.
And it also shows kind of the divide between like Irish Catholic and then like in Weevil's case, like being a Mexican and being Catholic.
Yeah, totally. There's a whole onion that we could talk about as well too.
Yeah. And just like I'm sure those churches' masses are ran very differently depending on what neighborhood you're in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not where I grew up, though. One church did the Portuguese mass, one did the Spanish mass.
Hey, there you go. Ours was, I can't remember when the Spanish masses were. They're at weird times.
Oh. The Portuguese mass was at 11, and I think the Spanish mass was too, but just that like one was at one church, one was at the other.
Right, exactly. So then everybody can meet up at the end.
Well, and they were on opposite sides of town, but it's once again a town that is a 4-minute drive through and through.
I see.
But yeah, So Veronica's like, wonder what this is about.
Right. And then, where could this call? Because she sees the number, right? She gets the number from him of where he got the weird call. And
so she looks into the number.
Yeah.
And it's one from the Eccles house.
Wait a tick?
Oh,
that famous catchphrase.
Oh, God. Wait a tick.
Yeah. So then Wallace and Jackie are having a makeout sesh. Wait, no. I might be... Yes, this is. He's wearing his Livestrong bracelet. And Veronica calls and is like, hey, would you want to help me? I'm doing spy stuff. And, of course, Wallace is like, I don't know. And it's like, well, I can make it worth your while with a couple $100s. And he's like, all right, I'm coming. Yeah. Which, hey, I'm all for it.
And then Jackie gets jealous. And she's like, you didn't say how high. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I know.
And then...
Which,
I get it.
I totally get it. Like, she's fucking annoyed because she has no idea. Like, why would you go do this?
I would So Wallace makes a grave mistake. Instead of saying, our parents are dating, she's like my sister, he's like, she's my best friend, which is,
Right. Then it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, it's like, what attention do I get then if, like, which I get because, like, you want, especially at that time as a woman, you were taught to think that if someone loved you, you were their everything.
Right. So you got to give all the attention.
Exactly. And if you're giving your attention to someone else, then you must not love me enough.
Right. And I could see rumors 100% happening in that high school. Yeah, I mean, there's been rumors about them. Like, they hang out all the time, but, like, I think, like, people have been saying that they, like, hook up and stuff. I bet they're totally dating.
But she's dating Duncan.
Oh, right.
She belongs to someone else.
That's true.
Women are property.
Exactly.
So then like, early
2000s.
Yeah, so that's, to me, my grave mistake to Wallace. I was like, you tell them she's like your sister.
Yeah. Because she is.
It's like even in the last Harry Potter when Ron's like, oh, like I was worried. And he's like, nah, she's always been like my sister. I thought you knew that. Like, why would I?
Why would I ever?
Yeah.
He's just like, because you decided.
I am dating your sister, remember?
I mean, Ron, your sister's much hotter.
You can't date your sister.
But they have a brief chat when he meets up with Veronica. And Veronica's like, I like saw her with like someone else at Jabba the Hutt. Are you sure that like she's like yours? And he's like, well, like that was 2 weeks ago, and we had been on like one date, so like who cares?
Like now we're serious.
And it's like, yeah, that is a great attitude to have, especially in high school. Like, what guy had that attitude in high school?
Yeah, but is he also just saving face?
I don't know. He seemed like really well adjusted. Well, Wallace is just you could print on his license well adjusted.
Well-adjusted Wallace?
Yes, exactly.
That's awful.
It's my spin.
Oh, God.
But, yeah, I think that is 100% sincere.
Oh, I thought it was just him covering.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't seem like Wallace would cover. He would tell people.
I would think that he is jealous, as the whole theme of the episode is jealousy. So it's in like... Oh.
Right. I thought that was coming from Jackie's side in this case.
Well, I think it's both. Can't everyone be jealous?
Yeah, that's true. But in the context of the episode, it's all one-sided.
True. Well, so then Veronica does this whole thing where she's trying to bait Colin into flirting with her so that she can help Julie figure out if he's really in it because he loves her, in it for the money.
Yep.
And Veronica fakes a flat tire, and like has him let her use his computer so she can steal all the details off it, and just the usual spy shit.
Yeah, I always hate these kinds of things
where it's like, I'm gonna flirt with you to pretend to see if your will is weak.
Exactly, trying to exactly. If no matter what the intention is in the show, it's like, oh, this stuff always sucks.
Yeah, and it's boring. And then we find out some crucial information. One, the house isn't his; it's his good friend,
Nicolas Cage. We did a great freaking twist.
She pulls the stuff off his computer and finds out that he did, in fact, look at Julie's genealogy information. And in general, she does a little snooping. Wallace shows up at the door because he can't hear her over the speaker anymore and wants to make sure she's okay, and pretends to sell candy bars and only has an open box of Red Hots, which is my favorite thing.
It's just the best. It's so good because he's just like deer in
candy
the headlights.
And pins,
right? Like,
well, then do you want a pin?
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's cute. And then they leave.
Yep. Yeah. Get out of there. They run out of there.
Veronica goes over to Duncan's with dim sum to spend the night.
And he says that he was going to study for his Latin test,
even though he's watching TV.
And they make a double entendre joke, which is fun. And then Veronica's just like, hey, can like we be real for a sec? And Duncan's like, what do you mean? I'm always being real. Let's change the subject and get like really distant emotionally.
We call that underdeveloped and unin-touch with your, like how to correctly use your emotions or how to process them. Scorpio energy.
Ah, I see.
I have deep feelings and I'm going to keep them buried inside, and I will lash out at you for asking me to talk about them. But I have a lot of feelings, and eventually I'll learn how to process them and be a really cool person with a lot of depth to me.
I wouldn't know anything about bottling.
I know, Mr. Water.
Yep, that's me.
Just earth and water.
But then there's a knock at the door in the middle of the night. And at 2 a.m., who could it be but Meg's sister, fill in the blank?
Liz?
Yes.
And Duncan hides Veronica in the bedroom like she's a prostitute, Veronica's words.
And Veronica is extremely angry. Which I would be too.
Me too. And then we hear Liz tell Duncan that she snuck out her sister's secret computer, which I'm like, if the girl's been in a coma for this long, like, where has it been? Maybe in her, because it's in her locker at school and they were going to go clean out her locker. I was like, that's what it was.
So she's like, oh, it's safe there until.
And she's like, you need to hide it. You need to get everything off it because it'll, like destroy you. And Veronica's like, that's weird. And so then Liz is like, I'm going to use your bathroom. And then walks into the bedroom and sees Veronica. And she's like, did you hear everything? And Veronica's like, yes, and I can help. And then we call in Mac.
Yay!
Because Duncan, son of a computer mogul, cannot, in fact, take information off a computer, hack into it.
Yeah, I love the thought process there. It's like, your dad, like, made streaming a thing. How can you do nothing?
And he's like, I can burn you a CD. I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Donkey's mixtape.
Oh God,
what do you think's on it?
That was
Wonderwall.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's like, this wall's really deep. This song's really deep if you think about it. What else would be on there? A lot of touchy-feely stuff. I'm trying to think like music from 2005. That'd be big.
I was listening to emo music.
So
like I wasn't,
He's got a Simple Plan song on there. Good Charlotte, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, because this is the fun times, right? We got the fun times, but we also got the other stuff. Maybe a Linkin Park song is on there.
Oh. What was that? That Reason song, was it Hoobstank?
Yeah, Hoobstank.
That's
a
probably
good one.
there.
Yeah.
Let us know if you have any songs you would put on Duncan's Dim Sum and Then Some playlist.
Yes. He starts off with Candy Shop.
The best list of songs. We will burn you a CD and send it to you.
Yeah, perfect. Bring it to the potluck. We'll play it at the potluck.
We'll play it at the potluck. But yeah. So then they pull everything off the computer and they put it on a lime green flash drive.
Oh, yeah.
And then in the morning, Duncan goes to take a shower and leaves a flash drive out in front of Veronica. And she says,
just baiting
what
her.
did she say? Do you leave heroin out when
oh God, Iggy Pop comes to visit.
Yeah. And then she goes to go use it, and then she gets a call from her. She's going to load it on her computer to see what was on Meg's computer. And then she gets a call from Julie, and Julie's like just all distraught and upset because she's like, how dare he?
Yeah, look up my genealogy, right?
Well, in this case, it's lie about having money.
Oh, right. Yes.
And so then
because it's not his house.
It's not his house. And so Veronica's like, let's meet later and we'll go through everything. And so then Veronica decides she doesn't want to be crazy jealous or just creating problems where there aren't any. So she puts the flash drive down. And I say no. I would have taken that flash drive.
Just look at it.
Just look at it.
Yeah.
And then
hosts her meeting with Julie at the Mars Investigations office, just asking to be caught.
Yes, so she tells Julie that, hey, the good news is it seems like he does really love you and he's not a bad person. But the bad news is that it looks like he looked up your genealogy and he does know that you're wealthy.
And she's like, poop.
And she's like crying and upset. And Keith comes home and he's like, oh, I thought I told you not to take on this client. So he asks Julie to leave. And she said, yeah, she's like, I'm going to go stand in traffic for a bit. And I was like, cool.
Oh, God.
Some dark shit.
Yeah, so just make sure you send the check.
Crosswalk. Use the crosswalk. And then Keith is like, you shouldn't have taken her on, and you shouldn't be spending the night with your boyfriend in his hotel room.
Mm-hmm. You think I don't notice?
Yeah, you think you can get away with shit because you're so sly. And I'm like, she's 18. If she wants to fuck who she wants to fuck, let her fuck who she wants to fuck.
There you go. It's on the family crest.
Fuck who you want.
Right. Are you under 18? Well, then you don't get to fuck who you want to fuck. You fucking fuck.
As long as it's consensual.
Yeah.
That's on the back of the crest, just in case anyone needs a reminder.
Just look at the back. Oh, right.
Yeah. Like, make sure you get consent.
Mm-hmm.
And so then Veronica's sitting there and she looks at the records again because she feels bad because her client was upset. Yep. And then she's like, oh, wait, he looked into her genealogy 5 days ago. He bought her the ring 2 weeks ago. Right. So then she calls her and she's like, hey, like, you know, he blah, blah, blah. Like, he didn't look into this until later. He's probably looking for your dad to ask him if he could marry you, you know, all that shit. Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, but he lied about being poor. And she's like, oh, so money does matter to you.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's like, who's the two-faced one here?
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the scene of Keith trying to handle cases on his own.
Yeah, and he's just like, paperwork's everywhere. He's got wrong answers. He's just, you know, he can't be his own secretary because he's not organized, it looks like.
No, it does not seem like he's organized.
I'm not sure if he should be sheriff anymore.
Yeah, God.
I
don't know, a little bit shaken on that one. Better than Lamb, though.
Yes,
true, it might be the compromise candidate, but it's the candidate we have to vote for.
Exactly. And you should look at voting like public transportation. If something can't take you to the door of where you want to go, get on the bus that takes you closest.
Mm-hmm. Get off on Third Market or something down there.
Yeah. You know, just walk.
Yeah, exactly. It's not too far.
And so then he's like, hey, Veronica, I'm going to let you work for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little, but you can't quit your other job, and it's just part-time. And she's like, I want a pay raise.
Which smart. Hey, she knows what she's worth.
Exactly. She's like,
I'm worth the silver package.
I've already gotten employed by another company.
Exactly.
And then, she is this when she's going through the house and she finds the bottle?
Yes.
So she's like looking at she did laundry. She's folding her laundry and she looked at the emblem on the handkerchief that Colin gave her when her tire was flat to help her wipe the dirt off her head. Yep. And she's like, hey, this is embroidered with a symbol that I know because my mother's an alcoholic. And she goes, literally, that's like verbatim, like the voiceover.
Mm-hmm.
A little different, but not much.
Right. It's just, it's more like, not to bring it back to Burn Notice. It was much more of the, when you're a spy, but when your mother's an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, shit, this man is the heir to a distilled beverage company. I can't remember what kind of alcohol it was.
Scotch. Because he's Scottish.
Oh, yeah, because he had the Scottish accent.
It locks something.
So she, Veronica sends Julie a box with a bottle of the scotch in it and a note that's like, hey, it looks like you both were lying about where you were from to make sure that, you know, whoever you met truly loved you. It looks like one of you was truly loved for who you are.
Mm-hmm. Bum, bum.
Yep.
And then Veronica walking through the school, and we get our only Logan time for the week where she's like, hey, so do you mind telling me about calling Weevil on your phone on this night and telling him about something about Curly Moran? And he makes a bunch of asshole remarks, which are always well written. Very good.
Yes.
Miss Logan this episode. And is like, yeah, who the hell is Curly Moran? I have no idea. But he also says, Veronica Mars is accusing me of doing evil.
Yes, he's quite pleased with himself. He's quite chuffed.
Uh-huh. Yes, very chuffed.
And then she's like, well, what were you doing? Insert April 24th, whatever fucking date I used earlier here.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, I don't know. And he's like, oh, that was the night of my...
You only have once party or something.
Yeah. Or like Life is Short party.
Life is short. There you go.
Because the rich kids threw a party about how they didn't die in the bus crash.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Of course.
And he's like, well, it wasn't just me and my friends. Weevil and his gang showed up.
Uh-huh.
And then she was like, and where's this phone number? Because it's connected to your house, but like, it's none of the ones I know. And he's like, ooh. And then just walks away.
And it's just like, up yours.
Mm-hmm.
In so many words.
What's funny is you'd think he'd be worried because he's going to end up in jail if she fucks with him.
Yeah, totally. But no, he is in a devil may care spiral where he doesn't care about himself.
True.
So, deeper issues going on, of course.
Very
as always.
deep.
And then Wallace working on the car, and we hear a voice, and it's a man. Oh, who is it? But it's Nathan. And he is like, hey, Wallace, like, look at this picture of me and your mom. And he's just like, am I supposed to know who you are? And it's like, I'm your father. Zoom.
Bum, 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 bum.
Credits.
Yep. So we didn't learn anything about the man, Curly Moran, showing up on the beach. Or not
Nope.
Curly.
Yeah,
Curly.
Curly.
We didn't learn anything.
Do you know him as David?
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't learn anything about really what's on Meg's computer or why Duncan's visiting. It was really a filler episode.
Yes, this is definitely a filler episode. But we did learn something. Trust your partner.
Why? It seems like they're all lying.
Right. And they're all being spun around like tops for it. But if everybody was just open with each other.
Yeah, be open. That's truly the...
Mm-hmm.
Be open, be honest. Well, Veronica tries. She asks.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm saying the lesson. I was, not singling people out.
Oh, I am.
Oh, okay.
Call out culture, baby.
Yeah. Duncan, hit the bricks. We'll say it. We said it once. We'll say it a million times. Duncan.
Until you hit the bricks, Duncan, I will be
exactly
shooing you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anything else?
I think that is it.
All right. Shall we plug?
Yep, let's plug it up.
You can find me at butreallythough.com. Though, spelled THO. Leave out the U, the G, the H. We don't need it here. We don't want it here.
We didn't have enough to buy the vowels.
I post about my coaching business on there. I do one-on-one sessions. I'm working on a program that will be up soon that you can purchase that is self-paced. I also post free coaching content on my blog on there. If you go to the menu, you can drop down, go blog. I've got lots of different self-care, coaching, personal, professional development, how to be a better ally, and recognizing your white privilege posts, as well as the rest of that. I also am on YouTube at But Really Though, spelled exactly the same. And we have another podcast called But Really Though. It's a conspiracy theory, true crime, rarely. I don't know why I included that. Tall tale, myth-based, anything, you name it. If it's questionable.
Ghosts.
Yeah, CD, I talk about it. We talk about it.
Yep.
You can stream it wherever you stream this from.
Exactly. All the places, all the podcast places.
All of them are spelled But Really Though with a THO.
Mm-hmm. Got it memorized. And you can find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. You can find me at Pyle Britton. That's a Pyle. And just keep on keeping on and rate, review us, I guess, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, let us know what you like. Send us some emails
and,
at marsrewatch@gmail.com.
Thank you very much. Send us your playlist for Duncan.
Yeah, or, you got any thoughts, big opinions on the episode, you let us know. Or any other episodes.
Right.
I've had lots of opinions the entire of the episodes. If you have them bottled inside and you need to get them out, we're
Let
here.
them out.
Yeah, give them to us.
Get them out.
Put it out there for us,
Get the bats out the cave.
That's usually what I refer to boogers as.
Yes.
Okay.
Your mind boogers in relation to Veronica Mars. Pick them.
Don't eat them.
No. Get that out of your mouth.
Well, stay toasted, marshmallows.